Hey interwebers, how you doing? It's been a couple of days back on deck, but I had a really decent weekend, you know, like a couple of days off in a row, and it was just magic. Got to go down and hang out with my boy, and you know, took my boy down to Southwoods Car Museum in Paraparima, or wherever it is, with my dad, so I had a good quality fun out time, if you know what I mean. But hey, you want to check out that Southwoods Car Museum if you haven't been there, and if you're a bike or a car guy, if you're a rev head, man, you got to check it out. It's just amazing. V8 powered motorcycle, yeah. But yeah, it was all good. The real cool thing was I got to hang out with my boy and all that, you know, but outside the fun out time, it was get on the Harley and rack up a few 100 miles, and man, that was just like the best ever, Just love my motorcycle, just had a fantastic ride. I'm sort of having some thoughts what to do with my bike. Some of you guys may have seen it. It's just an old 2000 White Glide, She's nothing spectacular, mate. She's just an old girl. She's an import from Tennessee. And you know, she's a good old girl, mate. She's had a bit of a hard life. But anyway, I was thinking, I was on the line, or what do you call it? I was on the internet looking around and stuff, and I seen these bolt-on forks that are like 10 inches over or 12 inches over or whatever you want, and it comes with a whole headset as well, so you know, in a day you can take the stock forks off your bike and replace them with some long forks. And I'm thinking, well, that might be a nice way to see if I like a rail bike. There's a guy in the Patriots Motorcycle Club in the Men or Two chapter. He's got a set of these, and I heard that he doesn't like them very much. But I need to have a chat with somebody who's riding a chopper or a bar hopper bike, because I'm thinking about turning my bike into something like that. You know, she's not a daily rider because, you know, I'm trucking and doing so many hours that my bike isn't getting the miles on it that it used to. So it's taken on a whole different thing. Hello, engine fan. What it is now is it's turning into more of a hobby hot rod sort of thing, and I tend to spend a bit of money on it and then rack up some miles and spend a bit of more money on it, slowly turning it into some outrageous over the top in a hard case machine. But I'm really enjoying doing it, and I've always liked the idea of a chopper. I like the old 1970s styles chopper, you know, the really skinny shovel heads with the kickstarts and the crazy 6-pin pullbacks and the Springer front ends, and I really like those old school choppers, but and although my bike won't be one of those, I do like the idea of that raked out front end with the high bars, and so I'm kind of keen to do that to my bike, and I think it'll probably make it handle like a pile of junk. Probably look really weird because it won't have the rake built into the frame. It'll be coming off the headset, so I can't go too far out, otherwise it'll look like it's just kicked out. But yeah, I think that might be a cool way to see if I'd like a chopper, is just buy a bolt-on chopper kit and roll with that for a year or two and see what happens. There might be an alteration to my American dream. Look like it might be an Australian one. But that's okay, because the Aussie dollars are, you know, the Aussie wages are heaps more than the American ones anyway. The American dream was more of a, how do I describe that? The American trip was more like when I was on the dole, and you know, some of you will know that when I was on the dole and I was raising my boy, I was getting a lot of inspiration from these American truckers, and the landscape that I was looking at was so different from what we're used to here in New Zealand, and you know, it had these really weird echoes that sort of resonated with my youth and seemed so familiar but so different, you know, because I was brought up on 1970s TV, so things like chips and the big freeways and the American road culture that had, you know, all the cowboy movies that we used to watch as kids, and you'd see these deserts in Texas and rivers like the Rio Grande and things like that, you know, and it was like, you know, it was like all these nostalgic memories in these familiar places, yet so different, and you know, just to experience what had inspired me and motivated me and given me hope and something to aim for when I was on the benefit. So it was all about trying to reach out and live that dream and tick that box, but it looks like something's come up that will prevent me from going there. And so it looks like if I am going to get overseas trucking, well, it's probably more than anything going to be Aussie, because that's just across the ditch and, you know, a couple of $100 away. But we'll wait and see. I'm actually in a pretty good paddock. The job I've got's actually a pretty good job. I'm living in a really nice little town. Taupo's a beautiful place. And I've got a cool ass Harley that I'm slowly doing up, so I've got to ask myself, I just might have to have a bit of a rethink. More roadworks. Check out the Marist Freightliner. Awesome. That rocks, mate. Go Marist, looking good, mate, all day long. In fact, the more I think about it, oh, there's a mufti cop, GBF 517. The more I think about it, the more I like the idea of riding a chopper. I mean, you know, look at the day, it's just such a stunningly gorgeous day, and imagine that kicked out front end and just the big old V-twin loping along really nicely. I had such a cool ride down the desert a couple of days ago. I was following this guy. He was riding one of those new Indians. Man, nice bloke. He was cruising along, and there's a bit of a racer though. He's going pretty hot into some of the corners, and it was pretty random. But you know, my bike's sort of halfway there. And it would just be so nice to be able to have that nice big long front end. Oh, hello, it's my biggest fan. Have that nice front end just kicked out, and big old Hino coming up beside us. This is a Japanese Mac. Boom. And just a nice big old chopper just loping around. You know, my days of riding like mad are over, so it's more of a cruisy vibe for me nowadays, and the old Harley is really a magic bike. Hey, I just love the feeling you get on it, and to exaggerate that feeling, you know, you do things like put on big crazy sissy bars and high handlebars, and you know, you tend to make it your own. Well, you know, I think the next logical conclusion before I go and get myself a full-on chopper chassis is to run her with some big forks and see what she looks like and see how she goes and see if I like it. The more I think about it, the more I like that idea actually. But it's a lot of money. I just have to see what happens. I tell you what I'm hanging out for really. Oh, we've got a radio, sweet, we've got coverage. What I'm really hanging out for is, you know, I don't know if you've ever done it, but I used to have a bivvy bag, and I don't know if you know what a bivvy bag is, but it's basically a raincoat that your sleeping bag slides inside, so it's a waterproof covering for your sleeping bag. And I used to have a Thermarest, which is a type of self-inflating camping mattress, inside it with my sleeping bag, and I'd roll it up and I'd tie it on my bike, and I'd just ride and ride and ride and ride and ride, and then when I'd had enough or it was getting dark, I'd find a place to camp and just coon out. Last time I did it was on a beach in Opotiki, and lit a campfire and got a bottle of I think I got a bottle of red wine, because I think that's all I could get, and I sat there and I had a really pleasant evening, slowly numbing myself with this red wine and warming myself by this fire, and conked out and then rode back home the next day. And I really miss that about motorcycling, and I really like that about the Harley, is because it sort of promotes that free wind sort of cruisy, just ride wherever you want and camp wherever you want. And that's what I'm hanging out for. You know, I spend a lot of time on the road, and I really love trucking. I really love traveling. You know, this to me is just the best way to earn a living. But to be able to do it just with no direction in mind, and you know, a few bucks in your pocket, and a bottle of Jim Beam in the saddlebag, and just bedroll wrapped up and tied onto the sissy bar and just ride somewhere and camp. And yeah, that's what I'm hanging out for, and to build myself up a really cool chopper so I can have those kind of trips away is just a nice little trucker fantasy that I'm sort of struggling with. Anyway, that's my Harley dream, and it's starting to take over my American dream. Well, they're one and the same really, aren't they? There it is there. Just in case you didn't get it the first time, there was another Maris Freightliner. Fuck the English. Wow, check that digger out. What a monster. Cool. Love diggers. Check my little nav aid, ain't it cool? My boss gave me this phone with it on it, so to help me get around the big city, because otherwise I'd be lost. But it's amazing. I've seen these things on these American vlogging channels, these American truckers have got them. I never dreamed in my wildest that I'd be able to get one on a telephone. I am so stoked. It is such a cool gadget. See if it's going to talk to us. Hang on. Here we are, South Auckland. There it is there. Goes for miles. Alright.
Take exit onto Cavendish Drive, then turn right.
Mate, this metro driving is the bomb. Look at these trees. This is cool. These are gum trees. The Americans probably ain't seen a lot of them, but they're from Australia. Pretty cool. Check that out. Just beautiful. What a stunning looking rig. John Lockley. Nice truck, John Lockley. Sweet. Heart of gold. Heart of gold, alright. Beautiful. Don't know where this guy wants to go, but it's looking pretty sketchy. This is just so ridiculous to have yards this tight. Man, this is crazy. I can see a V-Rod muscle. That's like my favorite Harley in the universe. I always wanted one of those. I'm pretty gutted that they're not going to be making them anymore. There you go. Highway 27. They're doing those roadworks. Man, it just never ever stops around here. But you know, man, whatever, it is what it is. Hey, big guy. Nice truck. Anyway, this is it. Mission and I'm back. It's been a pretty cool day today. I've been to a whole lot of different places. Man, running around Auckland City in a truck like this is just a mission, but it is what it is, eh? And to be fair, I actually quite like it. I didn't think I would, but it's actually quite exciting and quite, I got my little robot that tells me where to go, and it's actually kind of cool. But you know, as soon as they were bitching and moaning, and you know, that's pretty much what I do, you know. But we're sort of, have any of you guys ever dealt with people that don't actually mean what they say? You know, they have this cryptic language where they say something and you're supposed to somehow interpret that into what they mean. But that's if you know that that's what they're doing in the first place. So the first thing is that you've got to know that they don't actually mean what they say. Okay, so the first thing is that they don't mean what they say, so don't believe what they're saying. And then somehow you've got to know when they're being fraudulent or deceitful or deceptive and when they're not. And then when you can tell the difference between them being honest and them being not, if you can, then you've got to figure out what their deceit actually means, because they say something that you're supposed to interpret into something else, and it's a real challenge for me. I've got no idea how to do it, and I've got no idea when people are doing it, and I've got no idea what I'm supposed to draw from it, and I've got no idea how to. I just got nothing there. I don't know. It wasn't until a few years ago that I realised that people even did this, and I'm starting to think, you know, these are the people that are managing my artworks and things like that, and they don't actually mean what they say. I don't know when they don't mean what they say. And how the hell are you supposed to get anywhere when everybody's lying through their teeth? It's just really a fucked up situation, and I really don't know how to deal with it, other than the fact that I'm not like that, you know. I'm just not like that. I'm just not one of those people, and I don't really know how to change it, and I don't know when these. It's just a really confusing place for me to be, and you know, all these people that do this stuff, I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't even know why they do it. Are they so pathetic they don't have the balls to mean what they say? Never mind. I guess that's what the Bible mentions. It says in the Bible about that God put the tongues of the builders, he turned them into babble, so no one would know what the fuck they're talking about. Well, I'll have to say, well, that's just yet another prophecy that I can testify that has got truth to it. Anyway, life is good. Truck on. Fuck the Babylonians. We're winning. Life's good. See you on the next one.